Is to end right at 12.
Great.
We can do it. Do we get in trouble if we go over?
We do not get in trouble if we go over. Just try to maybe make a comment. Hey, I know it's about time to finish. If you need to jump off, go ahead and do that.
Hey,
And
you want me to hurry? I got this.
And make sure you let them know somewhere like, hey, if you fill out that form Benjamin talked about, I'm going to send you this recipe or whatever you're planning to send them. Thank you. Sorry, Mario. We'll be out in half hour.
No, I have to take
Oh, okay.
doctors, so you guys don't take
Okay.
your time.
Perfect.
Leave that right on.
It's good. It's on. It's good. Yeah, it's good. All right. I'm going to click go. So I'm going to stop your video for a moment there, Joel. And, okay, now remember, when we get started, it's your turn. You're going to have to click share screen, end my share screen, and pull up yours. So just remember, you'll have to do that. Almost, yeah, getting ready. We got some folks coming on board here. Hey, Christina, I see you just joined, and Barbara and Debbie. Hey, Debbie, I'm in your city. I'm in Longview. I'm just a few blocks away from you. It looks like Florence joined. Welcome, Florence. And Shelly, hey, Shelly, good to see you. I'm sitting here with Chef J-Lo.
Hi.
Chef J-Lo, she'll be talking part of the time, so that's great. Oops. What's wrong with my,
Getting all excited.
yeah, my, there we go. Okay. Yeah, all right, we got a few more people. Hey, Patty. Hey, Jen, welcome aboard. We've got about 28 people, so we've got 20 more people we're waiting for, so we'll just hang tight for a moment. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Thanks for joining today. As you all know, if you got any questions or anything, at the bottom or top of your screen, it says Q&A, and that will let you know that you can ask a question. There's a chat bar if you need to chat any questions. And hey, Craig and Brandy, good to see you. Thanks for joining the call. We're about ready to get started. Just a few more minutes. It's a beautiful day here in Longview, Washington, where we're broadcasting from. 66 degrees. All right. That's great. That's great. I love some sunshine. Love me some sunshine. Hey, Mary Ann from Montana. I see you're joining us. Thanks. Good to see you today. Thanks for joining the call. Got a few more minutes. We wait for some folks. 54.
70 here with a high of 79.
All right. All right. Gee, we got to go to California. Yeah. All right. We got to. Well, hey, we're going to get started because it is time to start. So welcome everybody to Designing the Plate, Inspiring Techniques. This is an exciting opportunity to learn some tips from some of the masters. I can't wait to introduce them to you. My name is Benjamin Sermi. Most of you on the call know me. For those of you who don't, I'm a social gerontologist, which means I study aging and how to thrive no matter what age we are, no matter what abilities we are, how we can continue to thrive. You're welcome to reach out to me at any of those contacts, phone, email, Twitter, LinkedIn. I am available to chat with you. Real quick, want to thank our sponsors. Want to thank the Koelsch communities who sponsor these online educational events. Alice and Emmett Koelsch back in the 1950s bought a old nursing home in Longview, Washington, where I happen to be broadcasting from today. And those two, they bought that abandoned nursing home. They sold everything they had except for their car, and they turned it into an amazing nursing home back in the 50s. Fast forward to the 70s, they built one of, if the first, America's first assisted living in Delaware Plaza in the 1970s in Longview, Washington. Very few people had even thought of the concept of providing care not in a nursing home, providing care in a center that was apartments, not in a nursing home. So very forward thinking for their time. Their children have gone on to do the same thing. Aaron Koelsch, Judy Koelsch, these are their children with them. They own and operate all of the Koelsch communities, and it's an honor to serve with them. You can see a quick map of where the Koelsch communities are located around the United States. Lots of different spots, assisted living, memory care, as well as independent living, all those different options. All right, so we are giving away the Caregiver's Care Package. This is a first of its kind subscription care package. It's not designed by us. We partner with a licensed licensed family therapist who has designed this. Her business is called Everyday Caregivers. And these are available for you to just go online and get for somebody you care about. But we'll be giving one of these away this month. And we'll also be giving away the Caregiver Journal, which is specifically to help you take care of yourself if you're caring for someone who needs some help. Helps you take care of yourself as you do that. So we'll be giving that away. The way you can do that is by going to livingwellevents.org/insights. That's also the way you will be able to get the resources from today's show. Chef JLo and Chef Joel will have a recipe as well as these slides available for you if you'll just go to that after the presentation, and they'll make sure that you get that afterwards. So without further ado, I want to introduce Chef Joel August. He's Director of Culinary Services for Koelsch Communities. He's been in food for about 12 years, and he has worked for the Palms as well as Pardina's, an Italian restaurant in Central California. He's also worked for the minor league baseball team, the Fresno Grizzlies, and he's been working with Koelsch 6 years, trying to reinvent how we do food for seniors at all levels of care, from memory care to independent living. He's had the privilege of associating with and partnering with Chef Daryl McGrady, the private chef to Queen Elizabeth herself. Chef JLo is Culinary Services Specialist for Koelsch. She's been in food over 35 years, a baker in a Bass Lake bakery, as well as a chef in a restaurant and hotel. And then she's been working with Koelsch Communities for over 6 years, really focused on memory care and looking at how we can update how we serve food and memory care to be as amazing as possible. So without further ado, Chef Joel, I'm gonna let you take over the screen and share your slides with us. We're happy to have you, Chef Joel.
Likewise. Good morning, everyone. So I'm working from my home office here in Fresno, California, which I also have to share with the cat. It's been quite the difference in scenery for me. Today we're gonna, everyone hear me? All right, there I am, Benjamin.
Hear you loud and clear.
Designing the plate. So yes, I mentioned that I have a home office here with the cat. Litter box is about 5 feet away from me, and it's been quite the change from my normal working environment. So that's what quarantine does to you. That's what COVID-19 does. So excited to talk to everyone today about designing the plate. This is a presentation I've done over the years. I always adapt it a little bit and update it as we go. So yeah, we're gonna get started here. So we have all heard this before many times. At Koelsch Communities, details don't mean a lot, they mean everything. There is no magic in the magic, it's all in the details. That's a famous Walt Disney quote, which if you all think about Disney and the things that they overmanage in terms of details, it is crazy. They overmanage their trash cans, their landscaping, their light bulbs. So details are huge, and that is a good example, a good quote from famous Walt Disney. So what is plate presentation? Well, simply put, plate presentation is the art of modifying, processing, arranging, or decorating food to enhance its overall appeal. On this slide here, I have a photo from the Park at Surprise, Arizona, an excellent example of superb plate presentation. As you can see on this plate, you've got color, you've got contrast, you've got garnish. So I always have a huge supply of photos in my phone from all of our communities, and I thought this would be a great example for this slide. So Why is plate presentation important? Many of you may want to know because you know, food on a plate is food on a plate. People are going to eat it. But why is the presentation so important? It plays a huge role in how we experience our food. Believe it or not, food is an experience that each and every one of us encounter every day. For the most part, everyone. We all eat. It's a part of our daily lives. When a plate of food is put in front of us, the very first thing that I always do, and I'm pretty sure everyone else always does, is you're going to look at it. Whether you're going to look at it when it's put down in front of you or whether you're eyeballing it from across the room, we all look at our food. And as we're looking at our food, we are judging it. At least I am. This is when we are calculating whether or not we're going to enjoy the dish. Just by looking at it, we can 9 out of 10 times predict if it's going to be a positive eating experience or a non-positive eating experience. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't enjoy nor want to have any non-positive eating experiences. And I think that pretty much all of our residents and all of our communities and any of you would agree. So next we might smell our food. We might take that very first exciting bite. And nowadays everyone takes photos of their food. Granted, sometimes we're wrong and the food may not look as appealing, but has a great flavor. And other times there may be a really beautifully decorated plate, but it's too salty or it might lack exciting flavors. It could be bland. But most of the time our first impressions are spot on. A well-designed plate at the end of the day can lead to a delicious meal and a positive dining experience, something that we strive for in every one of our communities. A poorly designed plate can lead to a negative, possibly emotional dining experience. No matter our age or condition, we all eat with our eyes. You can be 15 years old, you can be 30 years old, you can be 78 with dementia. We all eat with our eyes. So just jumping on this here, this is a really good graphic. What's on the plate? You have your main protein, which industry standard preference is the protein is always going to be placed in front of the guest. So your protein will always be facing you. You have your starch and your vegetable. Those are kind of just a real basic representation of what goes on the plate. Here, everyone, I have a kind of a critical observation of a dish, not a bad looking dish by any means. You have some nice healthy food on there. It looks good. However, looking at this under a microscope, there are several things that could be improved on this plate. If you notice, the dish kind of divides the meal into equal thirds, very similar to what you would see in a cafeteria, prison. There's no huge contrast in this photo. I would still eat this if I was hungry, but when I see it, it doesn't make me really excited. And I want you guys just to take a look at that, maybe another 10, 15 seconds. And I'm going to pull up an after photo of the same exact dish, just to give you a visual representation of how changing a few things in terms of placement, color, garnish, can really take a plate from being a 5 to, an 8 or a 9. So I'm going to go over to this one here. And here's the after. As you can see, they've changed the layout of the plate. You have the chicken now cut in half to create a visual appearance that there's more on the plate. The couscous has had turmeric added to it and garnish on top. You have a lemon wedge. Your snap peas are arranged. You've got the red in there. It's amazing how much very simple techniques can change the overall look of a plate. The sauce on top of the chicken, rather than being a dollop, is now squeezed out with a Ziploc bag or a squeeze bottle, a much more attractive looking plate. None of this cost any extreme amount of money more to do. It's all about being creative and having that eye for what's going to pop and how the plate's going to look and be finished. So a very good before, but an even better after. given the addition of garnish and just the way you arrange things on a plate. It's amazing the difference. So I have a poll. During this couple of these slides, I'm going to ask everyone in the audience to respond to the question in the poll. This one here is what I like to call the omelet IQ test. I'm going to put up 3 omelets here on the slide. And everyone just step back for a moment and take a look at the omelets, and which omelet is your eye gravitating towards? There are the 3 there. If it's gravitating towards one in particular, answer the poll, and we will see the results of the poll. We'll give you a good 30 seconds. Benjamin, do these polls share after or at the end?
No, I can share them as soon as you tell me you want me to stop it.
Okay, yeah, let's share this one here. Wow, so hopefully everybody could see that on their screen. It looks like we have 90% of everybody on today. Their eyes are gravitating to poll omelet number 3 on the poll. That's exactly where my eyes gravitate to. The reason being is you have more visual contrast, you have more color. It is definitely more interesting to look at. Think of this in terms of memory care or anything in life, really. When you see something like this, I mean, I automatically am more interested in eating omelet number 3 than I would be at omelet number 1 or 2. At omelet number 1 or 2 are probably equally as good, but they're not drawing me in. Think about memory care. Think about a resident that might not be having the best day. They might wake up on the wrong side of bed. They're hungry, but they're not in a good mood. Omelet number 3 would be the omelet we want to serve. So that's a very good poll. It looks like a majority of everyone agrees, which is great. So here's the next one here, everyone. How do these plates make you feel? These are not all great. These are very poor representations of plate presentation, but we're looking for your feelings on this food. How do they make you feel? So I'll give you a good 30 seconds to answer that poll question, and then we'll move on to the results. Okay, just a little bit more. Okay, Benjamin, can you share the results? Wow, so one person put happy. There's always one, but the majority of you guys put disgusted, which is a really good representation of these photos here. Not appealing, definitely do not draw any interest in eating, not appetizing, possibly thrown together, no care, very poor examples of plate presentation. So back when I was talking about how plate presentation and dining could have an emotional impact on someone, it's clearly evident right now with the bulk of you guys responding that you're disgusted with these plates. How it can have a direct impact on your emotions. So we're going to move on to another one, more positive here. We're looking for you, actually, I'm so sorry. This is another bad representation. Looking for everyone to describe these in one word. Go. Okay, 5 more seconds here. Benjamin, go. So we have a split decision on this here, which majority of the poll, everyone's coming back as nasty or gross, about 50%. Those are terms that we do not want associated with our organization. Those are terms we don't want people feeling when they come into our communities. And at the end of the day, that is not how we want residents to feel when a plate of food is dropped in front of them. At the end of the day, this is food on a plate. Is it still nutritional? Yes, it is. But is it appealing? Is it exciting? No. If you were to give a resident in any of our communities, whether it be memory care or independent living, anything that looked remotely close to what you see here on these plates, I am pretty sure that the resident or a family member would have a strong reaction or be very upset. So think about that. Think if someone brought you an item like that, how would you feel? And majority of you guys said you nasty or disgusted. So now we're going to go on and look at a couple more pictures in a positive light. Benjamin, can you throw up the poll? How do these photos make you feel? Hungry, tired, happy, thankful. And I'll keep it open here for about 30 seconds and then we'll see the results. Close it, Benjamin. So we have about a 50% split, thankful and hungry, happy, great. That is how we want residents to feel. That is how us in general, when we get a plate of food, want to feel. Very good feedback. And last one here, describe in one word. These are some more photos from our communities. If you had to choose one word, what would it be? Okay, Benjamin, close it. And 64% of you, appetizing and wow. Great. Those are words we want associated with a plate of food when it comes to us, when it's delivered to a resident, when you or I go out to a restaurant. Really positive. It's amazing how pictures, you know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a picture can also directly have an impact on your emotions. And those polls were a prime example, although short and brief, of how plate presentation can affect your emotions. So why is the dining experience and plate presentation so significant? And I tell this to people all the time. In many cases, it is the highlight of our day, or it could be the only highlight that a resident has for their day when they live in a community. It can have a negative or positive impact on their mood or their emotions. And also you and me, everyone here on this webinar today. It's vital for the nutrition and health. A resident or even myself is going to be more enticed to actually consume and finish a meal if it looks good. And it ultimately, at the end of the day, can have a direct impact on our success. And how is that? Well, I scoured the internet here to find one of the most awful online Yelp reviews I can locate. I will read this really quickly here. It's simply awful, jailhouse style presentation. I wouldn't feed the food that comes out of this kitchen to my dogs or even my worst enemy. Ouch. The sauce is smeared on the plate and the rice falling off the edge of plate. Chicken hard enough to break a windshield. I lost my appetite. I won't return. And better yet, I'm going to tell everyone I know not to return. Clean up your act, kitchen staff. This is a Yelp review from a Cracker Barrel somewhere in Ohio, seen by over 14,000 people. This guest at the restaurant had a very negative experience and they went online to vent. People do it all the time. Here's a direct example of how plate presentation can have a negative impact on our success. Luckily, Koelsch communities, we have no photos of this nature online. and we have no reviews of this nature, which is great. It's a kudos to our team for taking great value in plate presentation. But here's a direct example. Just try this here real quickly. Ask yourself these questions here. This is another photo I found from the same restaurant on Yelp, another review. The restaurant is, yeah, they've got some plating concerns. This one, in my opinion, looks like it might have been dropped. But yeah, ask yourself, would you pay $15 for this? Would you complain to the manager? Would you leave an online review? Would you refer this establishment to a colleague or friend? I'm pretty sure I know most of the answers to that. But again, prime example of why plate presentation is so important. I am going to now pass it off to J-Lo as we are getting close to 12 o'clock. J-Lo, you want to take it over?
Hey, how you guys doing, everybody? So we're going to do the 6 principles of food presentation. It's emphasis, balance, contrast, color, texture, and simplicity. And we're just going to talk about how our plate should look, what we should emphasize on, how we should balance a plate, colors, textures, you know, in general, what we do. I'll go ahead next, Joel. Our eyes. So what's the first thing you see on this plate? The emphasis is the salmon. So if you look at it, the salmon's beautiful, and we got little things. See, I don't talk right either, sorry. But the primary ingredient in the dish should take up most of the space on the plate and attract the eye. And the first thing you see on the plate is the salmon. Next, Joel. Balance. So I see this in so many different buildings. We're trying to set up our desserts up, and we put the dessert on the plate, and we'll just toss it on there. And I was training in a couple of our memory cares where we add a little garnish to the bottom of the plate. We make it look pretty. We put it in the middle, we center it. So the first thing they look at is they're not walking in with the plate looking all over the place. So weighting on one side, making it look unbalanced. So it needs to be balanced. It's really important. Go ahead, Joe. Contrast, color. So contrast, shapes, sizes. You know, if we do, for instance, if we're gonna do a rib steak, we'll put some garnish into the bottom of it. We'll have a circle around. One of the things I've learned in one of the buildings is at the park in Modesto, Caesar, David, they do beautiful, beautiful platters where they can make just a simple piece of steak look so good. You walk out of it, it's just amazing. And that's important. And again, it's the different colors. We have one of our chefs there, which is Ophelia. She does a beautiful job too. She can make a cream puff, and they're amazing. So again, shapes and sizes are super important. Go ahead, Joe. Color. So this is always fun. One of the things that we work with in all the buildings is when you put it on a plate, we use the orange plates on our memory cares. So, and one of the things you look at it and you put on there, and they have a piece of fish, white rice, and maybe peas or something. So when someone's looking at, they're going, okay, there's nothing to it. But when you dress up the plate, and honestly, the residents notice. I had residents, we had a tilapia on one of our buildings, and they complained that it was all white on the plate, and then they had a red plate. It just didn't look right. So it's important to complement the colors or create a focal point with the burst of bright color. So that is important. Go ahead, Joe. Texture, giving it height, giving it color. So you put your potatoes and your meat and make everything look like almost like a 3D dimension. And that looks beautiful on the plate. That's very important. The rosemary adds element, the different shapes, textures, densities, the soft, you know, everything's involved. Go ahead, Joe. So avoid overcrowding. Use a few elements necessary for the dish to feel complete. Don't go crazy, keep it simple. So if you look at the plate on the right, you see that we put the potato and the meat. It just looks like too much. It's something I know for sure that our residents would look at it going, I'm not gonna eat this. But on the other side, on the left side, everything's smaller in proportion. We try to keep 3 things on the plate just so it doesn't look like there's so much. That's one of the things that Joel and I focused on when we were doing our plating is at least have 3 things on the plate. We don't have to put 4 or 5. You have a roll, put it on a separate little plate, but don't make it look so overcrowded that they're looking at their food and they eat with their eyes. Overcrowding examples. Here you go right here. Look at these plates. And we joke about it because there's a lot of different buildings. You know, people like to eat. We have some overeaters that like to have a lot of food, but they look at that.
There's only one market where that is appropriate, and that is our Dallas-Fort Worth market.
Yes, they love their potatoes and their meat.
Yep.
They absolutely love it. You slap it on, they go.
But you know, if I'm an older adult in my 80s, you know, I would be a bit overwhelmed when I have that much food put in front of me. And I think that J-Lo, you would agree.
Oh yeah, it's just too much. And again, even like the simple as they have a pancake with the bacon, you know, there's a way that we can set it up again with the textures, you know, put the bacon over the pancake, you know, just try to make everything together and compact so it won't look like we're doing too much. Garnishes are important. One of the things in the independent livings, garnishes are very important. A lot of the memory cares, the residents kind of look at it a little like, okay, what is that for? But one thing that they look at is the garnishes, you know, just putting on a pretty, like a sprig of mint or a tomato. It adds a little color to it. It makes it look so much prettier. And again, people eat their food if it looks pretty. We can use cucumber, and there's all these little gadgets that we use in the kitchen that people don't even know exist, and you'd be surprised. Funny story, Joel one time had the, I can't tell you what it's called, we cut the zucchini with the little lines in it. I was like, Joel, what are you doing? He's cutting it. I'm like, I didn't even know what that was for. I think I had one in my kitchen forever. So you just learn how to use the different things in the different equipment in your kitchen, and you really enjoy it. Same thing with the pineapple slicers and the orange wedges. It just looks so much nicer if everything's in order. Spot the garnishes. I'm looking at the cheesecake. That's one of Joel's when we were at what is that, a crepe, all the different colors. You spot the garnish. And each one has several different ones, you know, oranges or strawberries. Same thing with the spot the garnish on this one. The chocolate, the glaze over the top, just to go across with your liquid over the decorating everything. It's beautiful. Go ahead, Joe. Curls and shavings. You get your graters and you shave chocolate over the top of it. Use a vegetable peeler to shave large curls from wedges of Parmesan cheese or milk chocolate. Top salads or pasta dish with curls of Parmesan. Arrange chocolate shavings on desserts. Add visual effects. They love that. Chives, onions, green onions. We use cabbage, red cabbage, green cabbage, parsley, cilantro, parsley. It's just beautiful. I've even used kale on some of our stuff. It just gives it a little more color and it looks beautiful. Cheeses, you do different types over your soup, your salad, entrees, purees. You can put cheese over everything. Not everyone likes it, but it's beautiful. The conclusion. So plate presentation is just as essential to the success of a dish as it tastes. The way the food looks at the plate is what tempts our eyes and makes you want to taste it. Imagine how your room looks when it's messy and how it looks when it's clean. The same ingredients, different results. It is just as true with food presentation and how the elements are arranged on the plate. Food presentation is one of the details we overmanage at Koelsch communities. We can't stress enough how important it is, and it's very important. So, thank you, Joel.
Thank you. Thank you, J-Lo.
Thank you, everybody.
Benjamin,
Yeah, you guys.
we did 1203.
What was that?
We went 3 minutes over.
Hey, no worries. That was awesome. Hey, thank you both for sharing today. It really means a lot to us. I hope everybody got something out of that because I know I'm a foodie myself, and boy, this stuff is so helpful. And even thinking about dinner parties, thinking about having people over, right? It's so helpful to know these tips and tricks. Real quick, before everybody heads out, want to just make sure you know that this coming Thursday, we have Dr. Kate Regal from New Zealand, who is the inventor of spin poi, where she took an ancient Maori practice and created a very simple but unique and engaging way to use POI, working with older adults at home or in assisted living. And you definitely don't want to miss that if you're at all interested in fitness, dance, exercise, or just unique things that are keeping people healthy around the world. So definitely come on Thursday for that. If you are interested in winning the Caregiver's Care Package, the Caregiver Journal, please do go to livingwellevents.org/insights and fill that out. Y'all have a great day. Thanks again, Joel. Thank you, J-Lo.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody. Yes.